Hey guys, it's me. I haven't been doing one of these in a while, but here I am, Adam the tent guy, and I'm here with Johnny from Rentkit, which used to be Adelaide Logistics, and he'll get into that in a second. But I had him on a while ago, and I also have the video of what we did before in my course thing. So a lot of you guys know him. I know a few people have clicked, the link and done Rentkit. Actually, someone I talked to, I forget his name, last week ended up going with you guys. But Johnny, how you doing?
I've been doing good. How you been?
Good. So let's get right into it. Like, why did it change from Adelaide Logistics to Rentkit?
Like you said, it was about a year ago. Since then, a lot's changed. We rebranded from Adelaide Logistics, mainly just because the name was kind of hard to. It wasn't very sticky, right? People were constantly forgetting the name itself, how to spell it, how to pronounce it. So we just decided to can it and find a new name. Felt like we were pretty lucky to get rentkit.com, which is our new domain and new name. So yeah, just kind of just a rebrand. Everything else is stayed the same ownership, same everything else. Just a purely aesthetic rebrand.
Right, I agree. Rentkit, at least you know what it is
Yeah,
right off the bat.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a much better name.
Thanks.
But yeah, I think we're gonna do kind of the same thing we did before, but you've done a lot more. So we're gonna kind of take an order from you know initial to the end, and also along the way what you can do with it. So
Perfect.
this is kind of like your presentation. I'll jump in here and there, maybe ask questions if so, but like we're gonna pop you up on screen, and you're gonna show us how it goes.
So what we're going to do is just kind of drop us straight into the life cycle of an event rental, right? Which, as we all know, is not a simple process. Often, it's not like a one-time e-commerce, ordinary e-commerce purchase. It can be week to months long process. You got your customer feedback back and forth. You got the item prep, loading, delivery, setup, tear down, return to warehouse cleaning, all of that. And then it just kind of repeats over and over. And our philosophy is that if we can continuously improve on each and every segment of that life cycle, removing friction wherever we can, shaving off minutes here and minutes there, then those gains will quickly compound into large time and money savings. And so that's kind of our philosophy and how we're approaching every bit of the process. So first step of that process is getting an order, right? Sales, acquisition. And so here we have a couple of websites that are of our customers. This one's called Joy Event Rentals. This is BW Party Supply, and just kind of highlighting them because they're doing really well. And this is our Rentkit integration. I don't remember the last time we were on if we had a storefront integration. But yeah, so this being the first part of the stage, getting an order, right? So on any of our websites that have integrations, we're able to add a little embedded search area. And one of the best things I think about Rentkit is with our websites is that we can build them for you, or you can just add our embedded checkout components. And we have other components as well, like a categories component. But the great thing is that we can help you build a website, and even if we build it for you, it's yours. You have full control over it, or you can already have an existing website and pull these components into it for yourself. So anyways, customer finds your site, they decide what they want this 10 by 10 pop-up maybe. We're going to add that to our cart. That gets set up over here, right? So, pretty standard stuff. Then once we get into our checkout area, we have all of your regular kind of stuff. And we have two paths here for our customers. They can either, once they click on checkout down here, they enter all of their information. They can either submit this as a quote request, in which case it'll go into your Rentkit account as an estimate, or you can actually have them go straight to the payments portal, where they will actually sign and make the actual payment for the event, and then that goes into your Rentkit account straight as an invoice, ready to kind of get started on. But most people that we work with, they want to have a little bit of control, a little bit more control over that with their customers. So they'll usually do the quote path. And then you'll see here things like additional questions and some other customizations. So for instance, they have a question here: is delivery over 50 feet from parking? Are there stairs? Do you need setup and breakdown? And these are questions that you can add as many as you want, determine whether they are required or not, so that you have additional information coming from your customer there.
Now, can they get triggered by like an item, like a pole tent versus frame tent?
Yeah, we're working on that. We have, I'll show some of that stuff when we get into the items, but definitely something that we are actively working on.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's one way of kind of getting your customer information, what they want, and everything. The second way would be if you are already inside of Rentkit and you get a phone call, right? They saying they want such and such for a time period. And another one of the hard things about rentals is knowing everything that you have available for any given time, right? You don't know when people are going to be asking for their events. Could be tomorrow, could be 8 months from now. And so if you're starting an order from inside of Rentkit, generally we kind of suggest doing it from here, this availability tab here. And so what you can do is you get a call. They're like, hey, we have an event going on the weekend of September 26th, we'll say. So it's going to be the 26th to the 28th. And so you put in that time range. And then as you're on the phone with them talking, they're like, yeah, we need 120 inch. We'll do the 108 inch rounds. And you'll see here your availability that you have for any of those dates. And you can immediately see whether you have the ability to fulfill that order or not, right? So here we know we have 15 available on that date. Let me go backwards just so I can kind of show you what it looks like if you have a bunch of other orders going on at the same time. Here we go. So this would be if you're during a busy period, maybe where you have a bunch of invoices and items that are already going out. So if someone wanted something for this full month from July of July, and they wanted this 10-meter stage, we can see that we have 4 invoices that these are already signed on other invoices, and you can just click on these and go directly to those orders. And then that'll load up and you can see what order that particular item is on. So you see we have these 4 invoices with a total of 46, 47, 48, 49. And we have a total of 47. And so with 46 out, we have 1 available. And so we can quickly see, okay, we got that one available for that down here in our uprights. And you can quickly kind of see in these orders and this Gantt chart style exactly where you have availability and where you could fit things in and that kind of stuff. So if we were starting out here, let me go back to where we were before. So we'll say the 20th to the 22nd of September. And we're going to add this 10-meter stage. We're going to say we got 2 of those, and they want some maybe some linens. So we'll add some linens. This is going to be kind of just a random order, slapped together. But if you're on the phone, you're able to very quickly know exactly what you have available. That's pretty much table stakes these days for rental software, though, right?
Right.
Back when we started, that was pretty revolutionary. So then we can come down here to the bottom right, view that order, and we'll just say create Invoice, and we can take all of that that we've been working on and bring it straight into the actual order view, where we can continue the process of building out the order. So we'll add a customer. You can add a any additional contact information. You can assign it to a sales rep. So I'm going to assign this to Joe, my co-founder. And then over here, we have our start and end dates. If there is a specific kind of like event date or start to it that you want to specify, you can put that there, not required. And then we can have our payment due date here. And then here we have our line items. So we've added a bunch of cool stuff with our line items. Let me go ahead and save this. And then save it as an invoice. When we save it as an invoice, we get a whole bunch more options up here, which we can quickly go over. But yeah, I just want to, I'm going to try and keep myself focused on the new stuff here. But if you have any other questions, let me know. But one of the new things that we've added are what we're calling linked items. So we already have bundles and supported bundles, but we have now what we're calling linked items, which is let me just go ahead and come over here to one of our items. If we come over here to associated items, you see that we have a few options here for each of our inventory items. We have auto tagging. So when this item is added to the order, the system will automatically tag the order with any tag that you want. We have these linked items. So items that are linked can be used to add to the order as individual line items. Add-on items, that'll be for the storefront, and then recommended substitutes. So with this, we can just click on this real quick, and it immediately adds any of those linked items like that below. This button here, this is to quickly subrent items from any vendors that you've pre-selected for an item. So for instance, if I click on this guy's going to pop up, and we're going to say select vendors for items. So basically we're saying which of these items. You can see that 3 of these have this subrent icon here. So we're going to click on this, and if we only want to subrent the 10-meter stage, I'll just uncheck these other ones. We can select our predefined vendor. I'm going to say Caterpillar, and then what we have here is an email preview that what it's going to send to that vendor, and then you can just send that directly to the vendor, and they'll be able to reply with whether or not the items are available or not for the given time range. And we're working on kind of like a vendor portal where they'll be able to more dynamically and easily say exactly what they have available. But for now, it's handled through email.
Okay, that's cool. Now with the linked item, can you explain a little more? Is that like I put on a tent and automatically it's going to put like bring a jackhammer too, even though I don't want to make that a group of, I don't want my
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's more like things that I often want with this product, but not every single time, and I don't want it in the bundle itself. But if I'm using it often, then yeah, I'll throw it in the linked item, and if I want it, just click there, gets added. Otherwise, and it can be multiple linked items as well. It doesn't have to just be one.
Right, and then it'll just remind the people loading up in this particular instance, hey, don't forget the jackhammer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And so then one other thing, I had the recommended substitutes in there as well. So if I bump this 100-meter stage up over the availability, and then also if we look over here, we have this recommended substitutes, right? So these are items that are going to be recommended as substitutes for this specific item. And so this is great for, if you have tables that you are commonly substituting out for other ones, if they don't care about it, if it's a 108-inch round, or whether it's a 6-foot rectangular, or if it's a beige versus white linen or whatever. If you go over, if you're in your unavailable, you can just click here, one substitute, And it could be more than one substitute. But if it's substitutes, then you would just click on the one that you want to substitute in for that item. This 10-foot upright is also unavailable right now, but you get the idea.
Right.
All right, so those are kind of the new stuff with our line items and those capabilities. Let's see here. So we're talking about the life cycle of the event. We've gone through the first bit, right? So how we get the order created, whether it's from the front end through the customer going through and searching for the products that they want. So here's one of those components that I was talking about. It shows you the products, the categories that you have. Yeah, so next step would be, once you have the order information all together, getting depending on how your workflow is set up, probably getting some sort of deposit and or signature, right? And so the way that we're able to really help expedite that is with our payment processing portal here. So what happens is, once you have kind of created this, say that as an invoice, there are a couple of ways to get your customer over to this portal. You can click here, and that will copy a payment link directly. And so you'll get the link here. With that, you could text them, email it, WhatsApp, whatever. So that's one way of getting them there. Another way would be to send them an email. So if you click here, we have send email, and that's going to pull up a invoice preview. First off, you'll be able to see what they're going to see. And you can specify who's going to receive the email, subject, other stuff. And then you say include a payment link with this email. And you can specify the payment amount if it's going to be a deposit. We also have this default security deposit amount, 25%. This percent is customizable in your settings. But yeah. And then you would send that to the customer. They would get the email. It would have this as an attachment, the invoice as an attachment, all of that other information that I saw. And when you clicked on it, it would take you to this portal here. And then your customer can very quickly see everything that they need to see. You got your invoice on the left with all of the terms and conditions. You have the payment information on the right, signature capture. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put in here. You can put in your payment information. This is on a dev environment. So I would just put in like 4242, which is the kind of universal fake card. And then once they click on pay, that would go through and add a payment directly on your order here. We have a couple of payment processors currently. We have Stripe, obviously, and then another one called Justify. And we're looking at adding a couple of more here very soon in the future. You don't have to use our payment processor, of course. The only thing that you would miss out in doing that is having that kind of automatic linkage between the payments and here. So if you had like a third party or a auth.net or something, whatever that you already have on the side, Square, whatever, instead you would take your payment like you normally would, and then you would record that payment here in receive payment. So let's say you don't want to use our payment processors. All you have to do is record that payment method through as an external system, or check or cash if they're paying that way. And then you would just submit that. And let me pick one that's not such a huge number. I shouldn't have added so many of those stages.
Right. That's pretty cool, because someone who might be switching from one rental program to another, it takes a little while to switch. You don't switch all in one day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're already using a different payment processor, you don't have to confuse the customer with like a total new look.
Yep.
All your new customers come on. just there's some software companies who are like, no, you can't use anything else but this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yep. So that payment that we just made, $200 recorded here, and you have your external ref number, and yeah, you can record your payments just like that. We also have email tracking. So that email that I sent for that previous one, you have your payment link here, and that will load up that same order. You can download the PDF so that you have a record of the exact invoice that was sent at the time. We've had we've had lots of people be like, "How do I get the invoice that I sent back a month ago?" Because I'm saying it's a he says she says situation. I'm saying that the invoice said this, but they're saying that I said this. But yeah, so this gives you full historical records of everything as you're going through that process.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Sorry, one sec.
All right.
Okay. And then, this is new. This is a pretty exciting one. So, site visits. You do a lot of big tents, right?
Yeah.
Do you often have the situation where it's not as simple? A lot of software, it'll just be like, here's the start date and here's the end date, and that's all we care about. But in reality, especially if you're doing large events, there's more to it than that. You might do the rollout of the setup over 2 or 3 days. You might have site visits throughout that event where you're needing to go back and tighten things up or do maintenance on some things. And so that's what this site visit is going to be for. Helps you track and manage on location services for this order, use them for scheduling deliveries and pickups, planning equipment service and maintenance, all that kind of stuff. And so if you are needing to do kind of a phase setup, you could create 2 or 3 of these site visits. If you need to send one of your guys back out to do any sort of maintenance, you can create a site visit and assign it to a specific employee as well as on the routes, which we'll get into here in a second. All right, so we've got our down payment, we've got our signature, we're getting close to the day of the event. Let's go ahead and go on to the next step, which will cover here in the logistics routing. Here is our logistics routing calendar. Currently viewing August 2025. We got 23 invoices and 2 routes. So here we have our routing. This has been completely rebuilt from the last time, and we got a lot of cool stuff here. Let me actually clear out these routes just so we can kind of start from scratch, but
Right.
just so you can see how it looks like at the end. But I'm going to clear these routes so that we can kind of build the route together and show you how that looks. So on the left, you have all of the orders for any given day, and whether they're deliveries or pickups, or if they're same day delivery and pickup like this guy here. And we're going to want to create our routes, right? So we'll go ahead and create a route here. I'm going to say add new route, and I'm going to call this East Valley in the Phoenix Valley. We'll give it green. I think we already have a green. We'll do blue. As you are kind of clicking around, getting a feel for what you have going on in a day, you can kind of just start adding them to your routes. If I click on this guy and I'm like, okay, this looking at the items down here, other information. Yeah, I'm going to start this route with 1168. So that gets added. We see our path here. Let me actually change this color to something more visible. And then we'll say, okay, this looks like the next one that we'd want to do. Add that. And then this one as well. So we're able to add those routes really quickly. If we decide that we want to change up the order, we want to do this one. We're going to swap these two here. So I'm just going to swap 2 and 3, just drag and drop to swap those, and that reorders. If we come over here to the assign, we can see here that we got an estimated drive time of 26 minutes. Here, the delivery fee. If you had delivery fees on any of the orders, that's going to sum up the delivery fee across all of those orders so that you can kind of get an idea of how much you're making as far as delivery fees on that route. Some of our customers use that to determine how many crew they're going to justify putting on that route, right? And then the route time window, if your orders have specific time ranges that have been set up, this will kind of show you the earliest to the latest of those delivery and pickups. All right, so now we got our first route set up, and just kind of want to show a couple other quick ways that we've sped this up. So we got, I'm the developer. I love my keyboard shortcuts and stuff. So Command A helps you create a new route. So I'm just going to create a new route here. We'll go red, and that's going to create that route and automatically select it. So I can then hold Command and just click on these last ones because I know that that's going to be my route. And then since this is a same day pickup, I'm just going to click on it twice, and that's going to complete that route. Another cool thing we have is this guy down here, this enable rectangle select. If you have several that you know you're going to be adding to a route, you can just click and drag, and that's going to pull all of those together. We're going to be 4 stops since this one's the same day. I'm going to say add 4, and then that's going to go ahead and add them in order of nearest to furthest. So sometimes this might take a little bit of rejiggering, but so this one 1 2, it's probably going to have the delivery be the last one. So I'm just going to switch that up real quick, and that is pretty much it. If things get out of whack, you can click on this button to refresh all the route polylines and stats. Here, also another really useful thing is if you have a bunch of orders, we have some customers that are doing 20, 30 plus orders a day, and you want to be able to just see what has been unrouted or what hasn't been routed yet, you can just click here, and that will show anything that hasn't been routed yet. So it looks like we got some that are really close here to the warehouse that I missed because I didn't realize that those were kind of stacked on top. So checking this unrouted let me see that we had a couple of these guys that were still needing to be routed. So I'm just gonna create a new one here. I'm gonna say call this like close to home or something. Create that route, and then I'm going to hold Command and just add both of those real quick. And now we can see that we're not, we don't have any route or any stops that are not routed. And we got a bunch of other filters. You can filter by delivery pickup waypoint. You can hide and show the different routes. If it's getting cluttered, we can say, okay, I don't want to see that route anymore. We just want to focus on this orange one, and you can do that. All right, so once you got all of your stops and everything, we can come to the assign, and here is where we're going to look at who is best to add to the route. So we see here that we got all these guys available. So I'm going to say that Johnny is going to be the driver, and you'll see down here in the bottom right that it says no schedule. And so I'm going to click on driver, and it's going to automatically pop this up because I don't have a schedule for Johnny. So it says this employee is not currently scheduled to work on July 11th. You can create a shift for them. So right here, you can go ahead and create a shift right off the bat, or you can just assign without a shift. That's fine. So I'm going to assign without a shift. And then for Paul Bunyan here, I'm going to give myself, Johnny, the driver. Paul's going to be on our crew, and that's going to be my route for the day. So the next step in this natural progression is getting it ready to go out, right? And so maybe the day or two, however far in advance you create your routes, your warehouse manager is then going to expect our guys to be ready on the days of the events, right? So this is our mobile app. All right. So the great thing about the mobile apps are that everyone has their responsibilities already set out inside of the app beforehand. And so, for instance, you don't have to come in the morning, have a like an all hands meeting where you hand out a bunch of paper and tell Bob over here that he's going to be doing this, and Trevor that they're going to be doing this, and you guys are going to be doing it together or whatever. They know just from the app everything that's going to be happening. They can come in the morning, open up their app, and get straight to work. So here in the app we have just kind of give a quick overview. We have the dashboard, shows you what's going to be happening at a kind of high level. We got 9 on-site deliveries and 3 customer will calls where where your customer is coming and doing the pickup or the return, and then just some stats here. We also have the activity log, which is going to show the different chats that are going on throughout the different orders. We have we have a quick be able to call your teammates button here, and then you can pick which day you're going to be looking at. Then here we have the routes, and so this is these are the routes that we were just working on. We created this one and this close to home one, right? So as you come in the morning and let's say I'm the driver, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, let's do this close to home one just because it's easy. I'm going to come here, say close to home. So I can see what routes I'm assigned to, and the inventory that is going to be going out and coming in for the different routes. And so one of the first things that you guys are going to be working on when you come in is getting the getting the orders loaded up, right? So how we help with that is, so this is coming from the route and then picking one of the orders, and you can see here the order information, customer, when it's going to be delivered, when it's going to be returned, all that good stuff. You click on here and that'll kind of redirect you directly to getting navigation details in Apple Maps or Google Maps. And then we have the status here: loaded, delivered, picked up, and signed. And so, like I said, first thing we're going to be doing is getting ready to go out for the day. So we're going to come here to the load inventory. So we got the shortcut key here, load inventory, and we can see kind of the progression here. We're on the load truck. The next one is on deliver, pickup, and unload. And so we're tracking not only the very front end of it, where you're putting all of the stuff in the in the truck to go out to the order, but we're also letting you keep track of, once you get on site, unloading all of the stuff, and then after the event, when you go back, picking it up and bringing it back in, and then getting back to the warehouse off of the truck again. So there's kind of those 4 stages of loading and unloading the inventory, and we want you to be able to keep track of all of those stages as much as possible, as much as you want to. So we're going to go here, and double tapping would kind of get you loading all those, or you can just select load all. I'm going to load all of these, and that is going to set ourselves to loaded, and then it automatically goes to the next stage, waiting for you to get to that stage. So
real quick, can 2 employees who are loading that truck be in that at the same time? And like the guy I'm working with has loaded all the chairs and he hits loaded, or do you just want to work off of one phone? The driver is responsible for that.
You can have multiple people working on it at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And so now we got everything loaded. We're headed out to the place. So we get there, and again, you could go through here and unload all of these. I'm going to take a shortcut and just say set delivered, and say items were delivered to customers. So this button right here. So when I click on this, we're going to get a delivery checklist. And so this is how we can add more information. This one's already been used. If you got there and you delivered everything was fine, you have all of these kind of checklists that you can go through. Customer was present at the delivery, yes. Delivery instructions were followed, yes. Customer seems satisfied, yes. If there's any notes, the delivery item condition. All items were delivered in good condition, whether they're clean, yada yada. And these are all customizable on your back end. You can specify which ones of these you want to have added by default, and you can also add your own checklist items. But another super important part is the documentation. Delivery photos, any damage photos, just so that you can have that full trail of documentation if you ever need it. Hopefully you don't, but you know how it is with customers. Sometimes you have to be able to say, no, this is how it was when I delivered it to you. I have proof right here. And
Right.
so that's kind of what those things are good for. And then you can even specify by item, whether items were damaged, which item, how many, if there were missing items, and you know you forgot, crap, we forgot 2 of these tables. That is going to show up inside of the checklist for the admin. But yeah, and then you know, it's been a few days. We're headed back out. We're going to pick up all of the items, and then we have a second checklist, a pickup. You also see that we got these notifications popping up, letting everyone know what has been delivered and when. So I'm gonna just go through this real quick. Yeah, we inspected for damage. We're not missing any items, but they broke one of our chairs, right? 2 of the chairs. Um, and then I'm going to take photos of that damage, any other customer complaints, feedback. If there's items that only need cleaning, we can say that. Yeah, one of these, the linens all need to be cleaned. Items that need to be repaired, we're good. Take some photos, general notes, yada yada. So that is our pickup checklist. I'm going to save that. And then we're basically done, right? Oh, I forgot one stage, the signature. So if you want to pick up the or get the signatures from the customer, you can do that here. Just click on this, and that is going to record that signature, and that's another point of documentation that you can use if you ever need it.
Right. You were
So
there. They signed off.
yeah, lots of a lot of this stuff has been added for our customers' protection. You know, as we keep seeing more of these things where our customers come and say, I just kind of got screwed. I would have been good to have this and this and this. And so as these kind of feature requests come in, that's what a lot of this stuff is being added for, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you've been out there for a little while, and now like things are coming. You know, you're getting feedback and requests, and now you're just making it better.
Yep, exactly. All right, so those checklists, we're pretty stoked about those. So if we come in here to that day that we were working on, we are going to see here in our dashboard this checklists tab here. And this is the result of all of our employees going out and, you know, being meticulous, good employees and filling out those checklists. And it's going to show us very quickly at a glance how those routes went, what needs to be fixed, what's damaged, any missing items. So we got 8 issues. We got 6 damaged items and 4 missing items out of total of 10. And then these tags here will also quickly show you what the issue is. We got a damaged one and cleaning here, 2 damaged and a missing on this one. And so these are broken down by the invoice and the type. So whether it was a pickup or whether it was a delivery, since those checklists are slightly different. But if we click on one of these, you'll be able to see the results that your crew put in on the mobile apps. Any images, the ones that were damaged, what was damaged, quantities of damaged or missing, all that information that they were able to capture on site during delivery and or pickup. And then you can even download these as PDFs, download all of them as PDFs or individually, just so you can kind of have those on file if you need. One more little thing while I'm here. Here in the dashboard, we have this overdue invoices tab here. This just lets you quickly see any invoices that have a balance still, and by by how critical it is, by how long it's been overdue. And you can export that data, etc. So just a nice little helper thing there.
Cool. I actually got to follow up to that one. Do you have a way to automatically or easily figure out, like, okay, they're 30 days late, it automatically triggers 3% increase on the invoice?
That's interesting. I haven't heard anyone request that feature, but that would be a feature request that we would definitely encourage our customers to add, which I'll use to segue to this guy right here. So here we have our feedback, and this is kind of just to show off that we really value our customers' inputs, and we are working hard to implement the features that they need. So this is our feedback here, where any of our customers across Rentkit can add feature requests, and then keep track of kind of where that is in the flow. So like one that I just fixed was a bug on the Rentkit app. So this has been fixed in 1020. A request that we got here, having the customer name on admin receipts, looks like. Some of these are brand new ones that I haven't even seen yet. But the other customers or the other users, they can come in here and add comments, upvote things, add additional links and or images for more context on the stuff that they want.
Right. This is really cool about you guys. Like on Friday, you said if there was anything that I thought would be cool, you would try to code it over the weekend. And then the first time we talked, my made up scenario where like I'm talking to a potential customer Wednesday morning and he says, oh, I'll get back to you by Monday, but the computer automatically is going to send out like a notification and it's probably going to send it out on Friday. And I don't want it to, because then I look embarrassed because we just talked and he's going to think I just talked to the fucking guy and he's sending me shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you changed that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, yeah, actually this happened. It was with Good Shuffle Pro. It was my friend. He lost a giant customer because that caterer sold to another guy, and his Good Shuffle Pro was set up to send like emails like every other day for payment. And he talked to the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, da da da. But he never could change, the automatic email thing or whatever. And that guy got so mad at him, he ended up buying all of his own dishes, and he's not renting dishes from him anymore.
Yeesh.
So my made up scenario kind of happened totally. To my friend.
But yeah, so that's our feedback section here. Forum we just launched. Not too much activity here, but this is kind of just like a Reddit style thing where you can ask questions and get help from the community. And that pretty much finishes up the life cycle of the event, right? So we went through the full process, starting from the very beginning when a customer is trying to get in touch with you and create an order, all the way through prepping it, getting payment, signature, your crew knowing what they need to do through the mobile apps, time and schedule, all the way through to the time and schedule, which is pretty self-explanatory. You're able to come in here and set shifts for all of your employees, generate reports so that you're able to pay them, set up wages, lots of cool stuff in here for their time clock. And depending on their permissions, obviously not everyone is going to be able to see the reports and the wages and all that. Right. These are permissioned based on your user.
And then you were saying the app is also, they can come in and work and sign in, right? Like on the app. And then if they're on the job site and it's like, all right, we're taking a lunch, sign out and sign back in.
Yes. Yeah, so on the mobile app, your users are also able to clock in and clock out. And it's going to say another nice little thing here is that we see this red dot here. It's saying that I'm late because I have not clocked in yet. Right. So I'm going to clock in, and that's going to start. And then I'll probably have to manually update that time entry. Employees can clock in and clock out, view their time entries for history. Few more things that I want to highlight here in the mobile app. We have this general chat that pulls in the chats from all of the separate invoices. So each of the orders, you're able to add information specific to that order. And this is kind of a common hub for all of that to come together. Finally, we've added a whole bunch of the web app functionality, and our goal is to get to 100% parity, feature parity between the mobile apps and the web apps, so that anything that you can do on the web, you can do on the phone, on the go. And that's kind of been a big trend that we've been seeing with a lot of our customers, is that they need to be able to do everything on the go. And so you're able to view your inventory, make changes. You're able to view your invoices and make changes to the items and the quantities. You're able to add invoices, view and edit your customers. Here we have our reports section, which has a bunch of kind of just reports based on all of the data that you've entered into the system, things like revenue reports, delivery performance, inventory utilization, customer analytics. So if we open up one of these, it's just going to take a look at all of our customer invoice data, top customers by value, that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're just working really hard to get the mobile app to be at the same level or even better than the web app.
All right, so obviously this is the second video, so anyone watching, down below is the link to the first video. Can kind of show more. Right now we're just showing the new things, but along with showing the new things, you saw the whole life cycle of it. And just keep in mind that the video before is before. Obviously, there might be some differences, obviously, because they're always trying to improve. So Johnny, thank you for coming on again and showing it off. And I really appreciate and like that you guys really listen to everyone and add things, because we're out here doing the shit, and we're like, oh, it'd be nice to have this, and you're like, oh yeah, that does sound cool.
Yep. And thank you so much for having me back on. Really appreciate it. Any ideas that you have while you're out doing it, shoot them to me, and we'd love to implement them.
All right, sounds good. All right, so everyone, that link to the first video is down below, and the link to Rentkit is down below. Go check it out directly. All right, thanks, Johnny.
See you.